Wait a minute. The suppressor is blocking out part of the notes. Oh, damn it. It didn't get the... No, it won't get it. Hey, the suppressor's blocking out the notes. Oh, well. All right. Well, we were jamming there for a second, man. We was jamming, man. We was jamming. Next time. Hey, Ox, what's going on? Block had a 69-month resub in there. Ox is a 46er. What's going on over on the YouTube side of things? Everything looking good? The freaking suppressor blocks it out. What do you want me to do? What do you want to do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You're gonna do nothing. You ain't got the bookkeeper. You ain't got the ledger. You got nothing. You got nothing. All right. Привет, Чинар. Привет, товарищ. Как дела? What's going on, man? I'm 2 hours early on the day you have to work. It was a SpaceX launch, man. We got stuff. We got the Space Force waits. Space Force waits for no man. All right, here. Let's tune in. We have the SF-62. SF-62 WSF-M 1 mission on a Falcon 9. It's an RTLS for Vandenberg. Yeah, early launch today. So yeah, here. Look at this great promo ad from defense contractors.
Tropical cyclone intensity, sea ice characterization, snow depth, and even soil moisture.
I should be quiet. It should be better now. Sorry.
Areas of the earth
to adjust the mixer.
To protect lives around the globe.
You want to hear me on one channel? You can hear me on one channel now. Here, how about the other channel?
At T-minus 14 minutes, the payload is
right.
healthy, and all systems are go for an on-time liftoff
No, you don't like
this
that?
morning.
All right.
Weather and the range are also green for today's T0. But for now, let's take a closer look at the rocket on your screen.
Yeah, let's.
Falcon 9 is a two-stage rocket and is the first and currently the only orbital-class rocket capable of reflight. The entire vehicle is just about 229 feet tall, which is about the height of a 23-story building. Since first taking flight in 2010, our Falcon 9 rocket has made 320 flights, and it's delivered all sorts of payloads to orbit.
All sorts.
The first stage, which is the tallest portion of the vehicle, provides 1.7 million pounds of thrust thanks to its 9 Merlin 1D engines. Today is the third flight of the booster that you see there on the pad. Underneath Falcon 9, you can see 9 Merlin engines that power the Falcon 9's first stage, which you see there on your screen. Named after the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars, the number 9 refers to these 9 engines.
These 9, got them.
The second stage has a slightly modified engine on it called the Merlin Vacuum, or MVAC engine, and this engine has a larger diameter.
We talked about the nozzles yesterday. If you want to learn more, I'll let you know. Check this out. This is an RTLS mission, or a return to launch site, which means this first stage is going to launch from this pad and land on a landing pad that's like right next to it. This is taken off from Slick 4 East, or Space Launch Complex 4 East in Vandenberg Air, Space Force Base. Sorry, old habits. And look, see right here, see this patch? That patch that looks like a parking lot right there? That's its landing pad. It's going to launch from right there, and it's going to land right there, right next to it, which is actually super freaking cool. Is it stubby? God, I hope not.
Fairing halves supporting today's mission are in fact flight proven, having last flown on USSF-52, and today both of these halves are flying for their second time. After separation from the second stage, both of the fairing halves will return to Earth, and they will be recovered by our recovery vessel Go Beyond. So for now, let's turn it over to John and check in on the status of the vehicle.
John? John! Cut the audio in!
T-minus 11 minutes and 30 seconds, the SpaceX team continues the countdown towards our 37th launch of the year. I'm John Innsbrucker, and I'm the Falcon Principal Integration Engineer at SpaceX, excited to be joining you today. Now, currently, the good news is all systems are go. At T-minus 38 minutes, the SpaceX launch director conducted the electronic poll of the launch team. We got the go for both prop loading and launch.
Pardon me just to mute Papa Innsbrucker there, but also there's some dudes just chilling on a Falcon 9 Octaweb that's being assembled behind him that's on a semi-truck lift. a modified semi-truck lift. Yeah, there's some dudes just hanging out on a rocket thrust section behind him.
The Merlin engines, it's already on board. It's stored in small canisters.
No, Astrolox, that's really old, actually.
While preparing the stages for launch. On top of the Falcon 9,
gotta run the ads. We're inside of 10 minutes. Go.
Payload team reports they're ready for launch.
Kind of. Go.
So overall, we're tracking no issues on the rocket. Spacecraft's ready to go. And as you can see from
Bing chilling. 来是 Andaman. Bing chilling.
chance of good
早上很chill. Bing chilling. No, I'm not saying anything coherent. I realize this. All right, cool.
declared they are ready to support a T0 of 7:25 a.m. Pacific Daylight Saving Time.
I'm
However,
okay
for
with
some
it.
reason, we do
This
not
shit.
launch today. We do have a backup opportunity tomorrow at the same time. But everything's looking good right now. With that, let's head back to Atticus to learn more about today's mission.
It's an awesome name. Nice hat. Oh, thanks.
If you're just joining us, today's mission is on behalf of Space Systems Command, or SSC, which is located just down the road from us here in El Segundo.
So, the dude that we just saw with the glasses, that needed to turn his lapel mic on, that's John Innsbrucker. He's Falcon 9's principal integration engineer. He's basically in charge of how all the payloads get put on Falcon 9. That guy is actually a freaking legend. Earlier this week we saw the last flight of Delta IV, right? Well, guess what? When John Innsbrucker was a colonel, a full-bird colonel in the Air Force, he was running the Evolved Expendable Launch Vehicle program. He is the guy that's kind of was the result of, like, on the Air Force side of things, of overseeing the EELV program that gave us Atlas V and Delta IV. Yeah, SpaceX poached him after I think about, I don't know, it's more than 10 years ago, but yeah, he's been working on Falcon 9 ever since. But yeah, that dude is responsible for Delta IV and Atlas V, amongst other things. I mean, it's a team sport, I understand that, but that guy's a freaking legend.
We use to defend and protect the security.
He's the principal integration engineer at 415.
But space is no longer a benign environment. Adversaries and near-peer nations are actively working to dominate the most critical battleground of our day. At Space Systems Command, the time to act is now. The race is on.
Our adversary is out there. They are going to work every day, trying to work harder, smarter, faster than us. But we are making sure that that does not happen.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
The Guardians, airmen, and partners of Space Systems Command are working with unstoppable urgency to innovate and act now, delivering solutions to emerging threats, creating resilient space architectures we can all rely on, especially during times of crisis and conflict.
The fight could happen tonight, it could happen tomorrow, it could happen in a couple of years, but we need to start innovating now, and that's exactly what we're doing.
For Space Systems Command, working faster means
Falcon
breaking
9.
from the status quo, exploiting existing space architectures and capabilities in creative new ways, working with commercial industry, innovators and tech startups, and allied nations to exploit, buy, and build, to deliver better, faster, and more affordably.
We are advancing the space architecture that we have up there right now, making sure that it's optimal, making sure that we get new space architecture set up, prototyping, experiments, to ensure that we can outpace the enemy tomorrow.
To maintain our lead in space, Space Systems Command has embraced a new culture, empowering its people to race forward, speak up, and connect with industry in unprecedented new ways.
Our people are agile, they continue our partnerships, they are working collaboratively day after day in order to contribute to the big warfighter purpose.
Space is a team sport. We have to work together
Hey, I said
to
that.
provide integrated, resilient capability and speed in order to fight through any contingency or crisis.
Space Systems Command is moving fast to maintain U.S. superiority in space, running a marathon of sprints, thinking differently, acting boldly, empowering at every level to make space work for us all. At Space Systems Command, space starts here.
No expense there.
T-minus 5 minutes, 50 seconds and counting. All systems are currently a go for an on-time liftoff. Now, while we were watching the video, a couple of important steps have been completed. We heard the spacecraft team declare they had gone on internal power. That happened just a couple of minutes ago. Also, we have just completed fueling of the Falcon 9 first stage. That gets all the kerosene on board. So we're still loading liquid oxygen on both the first and second stages. Now, the next event coming up is going to be the retract of the strongback away from the rocket. The strongback you can see on the right side of the Falcon 9, that's the structure that carries the air conditioning up to the spacecraft, the stages, the electrical signals, the pressurization gases, as well as the propellant up to the second stage, and of course that air conditioning into the payload fairing you can see at the very top of the stack. Now, in preparation for retraction, the clamp arms that you can see are on the very top of the second stage, just below the payload fairing. They'll open up. They're hydraulically operated.
Tanks are pressurizing for strongback retract.
And you've heard that call out. We're pressurizing the tanks. We're putting a little bit of gas, kind of stiffens the tanks up, and that way the clamp arms open up with a nice rigid structure for the Falcon 9 underneath them.
Guys, I usually provide commentary in this part, but if it's John commentating, he's 1,000 bajillion times better than me, so I'm just going to shut up.
It'll take a moment. We've heard the call out. The process is now underway. And you can see the clamp arms around stage 2 are coming open. Coming up on T-minus 4 minutes, everything continues to be go.
Lip sync? Okay.
We're currently chilling in the Merlin engines. At T-minus 7 minutes, we open up the pre-valves, which allow the propellant down to the engines to get them prepared for the ignition just before T0. You can see the strongback is now retracting away.
Strongback.
It's a slow process. We have hydraulic actuators at the base of the strongback that will pull it away. We do this slowly because you might be able to see we still have the lines that are carrying liquid oxygen to the second stage, as well as the electrical signals and the air conditioning up in the payload fairing. We need to make sure that all of those easily stretch out and all the mechanisms work so that we can get all the way back to the 77-degree position without tugging on any of the lines.
You want to know how I know so much about Falcon 9? I listened to his commentary.
You may notice a difference here at Vandenberg.
Launch load is complete.
It is, Orno.
T-minus 3 minutes. We've got the call
This
out
thing's
right
landing
on time.
right there.
Liquid oxygen loading of the first stage is complete. We're now waiting for second stage. That'll finish up at just inside the T-minus 2 minute mark. I started to mention the strongback is different at Vandenberg. It's a different style. Cape Canaveral, for example, at Kennedy Space Center, we only recline a couple of degrees. Here we recline to 77 degrees and then pull away at liftoff. Now currently we're inside 2.5 minutes. The range continues to be green. And the weather, of course, as you can see there, has cooperated. Even the Vandenberg fog has stayed away. We don't expect any weather conditions to develop in the last couple of minutes. Again, if for some reason we do not launch today, we do have a backup opportunity tomorrow at the same time. We're listening in right now for LOX load closeout on the second stage.
Hey, Haunters. I'm glad oh, yeah, that's right, dude. We were talking about, yeah, spun bearings, dude. It's violent. Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, rocket engines can visit Rodney. Hopefully we don't see that today. That would be unfortunate.
Stage 2 LOX load is complete.
And the call out on countdown. Stage 2 LOX load is complete. All propellants are now on board the Falcon 9. We're now beginning to vent down the pressure that was in the tubing on the strongback. That's why you see the cloud coming there. The call out ground gas closeouts. That's where we bleed the pressure off. And that cold gas, when it reacts with the moist, humid air right off of the Pacific Ocean, gives you that nice white cloud, an indicator of launch coming up.
Dude, I can't commentate this good.
T-minus 1 minute. We should hear the countdown. The Falcon 9 flight computers are in startup and controlling the rocket for the remainder of the countdown.
Run falcon9.exe. Hold on to your butts.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
Right on time.
You did say the
flight
magic
computers
word.
on stage 1, stage 2 are running the rocket through the last minute of the count. Listen to the go call outs.
LD is go for launch.
Launch director reports go.
Mission director is go for launch.
SpaceX and Space Force
That's awesome,
directors
Kix.
giving their go for launches. We're coming up on T-minus 30 seconds. All systems continue to remain go for launch of Falcon 9 and U.S. Space Force 62.
$15.
T-minus 10.
Sound suppressor
9,
should be turning
8,
on right here.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
Green flash.
2, 1, ignition.
Good.
And a liftoff of Falcon 9.
Send it.
Go USSF-62. Go SpaceX. Equals 50 downrange.
That's nice.
Stage 1 chamber pressure nominal.
Looked good. Good ignition. Good separation. Everything looked really nice there. Okay. Vehicle's rolling to the right flight azimuth. Should stop rolling right about now. Whoa, where is this going? Hold on. That's a different
T plus
trajectory.
40 seconds into flight, Falcon 9 on its way.
Telemetry.
Wow.
With
That thing
US
did a
Space Force
180 degree roll.
Good call outs there. Power and telemetry nominal. Propulsion is nominal. We're into the throttle bucket. We're throttling down the 9 Merlin engines. We prepare for the period of maximum dynamic stress coming up in about 10 seconds.
Supersonic.
Come out to the coast. We'll get together, launch a few rockets.
Faster than a speeding bullet. We've gone supersonic.
The commentary is so good. It's so good. I can't make this better.
Max Q.
Max Q call out. We're through the period of maximum stress on the vehicle. We have throttled the Merlin engines back up to full power.
Automated, I think.
Now, coming up, we're going to have 4 events. We're going to get main engine cutoff. All 9 Merlins will shut off. We'll then get stage separation, where the first stage pushes itself away from the second stage. And then the second stage engine will start a few seconds later. The Merlin vacuum engine on stage 2 will ignite. And that'll boost the payload into low Earth orbit. We will then have same time, the boost back burn start. Falcon 9's first stage is going to ignite 3 engines, orient itself, and start to head back to land on land, right back at Vandenberg next to where it lifted off.
Yeah. This rocket, when it separates, it's
Coming
going
up
to
on
turn right around and
main
shoot
engine
its
cutoff.
engine off. And the first stage and the second stage are going to be going away from each other. It's a freaking little ballet. Look at all these little things. So busy now. There's Miko.
Stage separation confirmed.
They got the stiffener ring on today. No stubby nozzle. Upper stage ignition.
Back
See, look at the first stage. Oh, it's
Stage 1,
turning.
back startup.
Oh, it's turning, though.
You've seen it. The first stage
I've
heading
seen it,
away
John.
under the power of its 3 engines. The second stage vacuum engine is lit for second stage engine start 1. A nice view there of the Vandenberg coastline. Even a little bit of the white contrail visible from where we left Earth on Slick 4 East. Now the first stage boost back
this man needs
continuing.
to
That'll
commentate
go
every
for
launch.
another half a minute. We're coming up on fairing deployment next.
Fairing separation confirmed.
We've got call out that the fairing has
It's
successfully separated. You're looking right now a view. The first stage continues under the power of 3 Merlin engines. It'll continue
Yeah,
to
John,
rise
absolutely.
towards apogee before descending back down towards the landing zone at Vandenberg.
Yeah, this is a...
Second stage, meanwhile, in the middle of its 6-minute burn on its way.
So if you look at the coast, you look at Santa Barbara over there, and the trajectory that they took, it was a 180 degree roll out of Vandenberg. That indicates probably a launch azimuth of like 190. So southwest, sun synchronous. This is a sun synchronous orbit, all day. A Starlink mission would be going that way. It would fly over the Channel Islands, closer to the coastline, and then take a left at Baja, California. Yes, it actually does that. It actually does that. It flies along the coast to go around San Diego and Los Angeles and then turns. This one did not do that, but that didn't happen here. This rocket has positive traction. Can't make those Machs without positive. Sorry, my cousin Vinny. This is on a sun-synchronous insertion. What's a sun-synchronous orbit? The SSO orbits are, you guys ever watched like a spy movie, like James Bond or Enemy of the State or whatever? You know, those satellites that like image things, like they can see like a guy reading the paper, see a guy like running down the street. Yeah, that's the orbit those satellites are in. Yeah, sun-synchronous. Spy satellites go into those types of orbits, amongst other things. Enhance. So a sun-synchronous orbit basically is a type of highly inclined retrograde orbit. I'm gonna say some big words here, so if you don't speak rocket, I'll explain it in a second later. The very end of the explanation is a very literal explanation. So sun-synchronous orbits are highly inclined retrograde orbits, and they basically use the Earth's precession to alter the orbit because of Earth's non-uniform gravitational pull. Earth is like a big jello mold, and it kind of weeble wobbles around, and because it's kind of weeble wobbling about its axis, that gravitational perturbing force can actually adjust the satellite's orbit. Sun-synchronous orbits are in a type of resonant orbit that uses that precession to move its orbit every time it goes around. The idea, and this is if that was just gibberish, here's the actual part. A sun-synchronous orbit basically is timed to fly over the same spot on Earth at the same time every day. Because if you have a spy satellite and you're trying to image something and it flies over where you want to image at night, it's not going to work very well. You got backlighting there. Backlighting is bad. Any photographer knows that.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
But yeah, that's a sun-synchronous
and there's confirmation
insertion.
we have just lit 3
orbit.
of the Merlin 1D engines on the
Fizzle.
first stage. You can see now we are rapidly slowing the vehicle down as it enters the Earth's atmosphere.
Supersonic retro
And this
propulsion.
burn should
My
last
favorite
just around
part.
20 seconds.
Yeah, exactly, Kev. You got it.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
And there we go. There's confirmation of shutdown of the entry burn on the first stage. The Falcon 9 first stage is also equipped with 4 landing legs, and those are made out of state-of-the-art carbon fiber with an aluminum honeycomb. And they are placed symmetrically around the base of the rocket, and they will deploy just
Stage
prior.
1 FTS has saved.
Those legs will deploy just prior to landing. Speaking of landing, we are just about 60 seconds away from that. We are traveling
Let's see the
over
coast.
2,000 kilometers per hour. This really puts into perspective the deceleration. In the span of just less than a minute, we will have reduced from twice the speed of a jet all the way down to 0.
Transonic.
You just heard that call out. Stage 1 is now traveling slower than the speed of sound as it heads towards land.
So Falcon 9 is slowing down right now because it's encountering denser parts of the atmosphere. You can see that it's having trouble moving that air out of the way, and that manifests itself as those crazy vibrations when it's coming in. Oh!
There you go. Wow, great tracking shot of that landing burn. You can see that center E9 engine has now lit. We are slowing the vehicle down very rapidly. Should be seeing those landing legs deploy any second now.
That's what I was about to say. Be all right if we reach the fog.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
Easy. Easy.
Stage 1 landing confirmed.
And there you have it. We have successfully made the 279th landing of an orbital class rocket.
Stage 2 FTS has saved.
Coming up next, we will have the second stage engine
Like
cutoff,
butter.
or SECO 1. And
That's
following
like
that,
4
we will
West,
enter
Jack.
into just about a 40-minute coast phase as the vehicle ascends to its target orbit.
Dude, they make it look so easy. That's not easy
On your
to
screen
do.
now is a live view of the MVAC engine continuing its burn.
You're on the rocket. Everything is all right. How are you alive?
MVAC shutdown.
There's no air on that rocket.
And there we go. Just had confirmation of MVAC shutdown. So with that, we are going to head into the coast phase. So we'll be
Sorry
back
about
with
that.
you at just about the T plus
Damn guy drives like an
48-minute
animal.
mark.
You hold your breath? Wow. That's impressive. Look at you. You should be like an Olympic diver or something. All right. All right. Well, that was the SF-62. Mission Marco. Hey, want to feel old? Arabsat 6A was 5 years ago. It's just a number, dude. Yeah, I gotta watch out for those eyes. Yep. Sequel cutoffs for an orbit like this is always faster with no Earth rotation boost. Yep. That, see right there? See what I mean? Heading 190. Like if you're on a compass out of Vandenberg, it's a inclined retrograde orbit, meaning it's going opposite the direction of, it's going against the grain here, against the direction that Earth spins. These types of orbits are for imaging stuff at the same time during the day. Those are spy satellite orbits. That's why this is a Space Force mission, and they don't want you to know what it is. Do you think we'll see an orbital skydive within the next 20 years? For a brick, he flew pretty good. Crazy fool. Why do you always jump? One of these days you're gonna land on something as stubborn as you are, and I don't do bits and pieces. Where'd you get a BB-59 hat? At the Cove? Oh yeah. I took Drummer there, Hammer Nails. Yeah, I took Drummer to Battleship Cove when he was over here. Dude, I forgot how much I love Battleship Cove. That ship is amazing. Hammer, is it bad? Just on a slight subject change, is it bad if I was like, if I had $1 million, I wouldn't do nothing. You don't need $1 million to do nothing. No, if I had like billionaire money, I would go to the museum and be like, hey, see that ship? We should get it going. We should get it running.
Discovery.
We should do that. We should do that. And they'd be like, no. And I'd be like, do you accept cash? Ka-ching! You know, it's probably not how that's going to work, but you know, like the movie Battleship? No, not like the movie Battleship. It's such a good museum, dude. Speaking of cool visits, thanks for the recommendation on Intrepid. Took the kids there this last weekend. It was amazing. You were there on the weekend, Fundingo? Don't tell me you were there on Sunday, because I was there on Sunday. You know, I love being woken up with sonic booms. Yeah, I mean, Aquino, it's not a bad life, dude. I was not there on Sunday. Well, that's a shame, Zizep. We could have been hanging out. I got disoriented down in the turret where the shells were. That's fine. Saw the booster for the first time coming back, but no sonic boom. Why? Factor, where'd you watch it from? I'm serious. That like, I mean, without giving away like where you live. Okay, so let me just ask this: are you in Santa Barbara, Los Angeles, or San Diego, or anywhere in between? Wait, EJ, where are you located? Boston. Yeah, Hunters, I'm up in the Northeast, man. So close. We were there on Saturday. We went to Vermont on Sunday to see Totality. Yep. Your streamer from Boston.
Discovery. Go at throttle up.
Hey, Gabe. Could you fit in the sub? The sub was undergoing repairs, so we couldn't go on it. And for the record, no. Drummer, that's New England. Thank you. I do plan to go to the U.S. again now with my new job getting better pay. So let's figure something out. Just tell me when you're here, dude. We'll go to a Pats game. Not kidding. Size up. Get shorter. No, you. Is it impossible for SpaceX to recover the second stage too? John, yeah. For Falcon 9, yeah. That would require too many changes to the vehicle, dude. You might as well build something new. That's what Starship... dude, okay. This is going to sound really weird coming from me. Starship is a reusable second stage. That's really what it is at heart. It's more second stage than it is like Space Shuttle, right? Like the Space Shuttle came back from orbit, right? But the space shuttle is basically just a second stage engine section with a tank attached to it, and it jettisons the tank. You just get your engines and people and cargo back, right? With Starship, you get the external tank back and the engines. Like I'd call the shuttle a smart reuse second stage, where you jettison one piece and then you don't get your fuel tanks back. Starship, you get all of your second stage back. Well, SpaceX hasn't done that yet. Give them time. They'll do it. I have faith. But yeah, I really consider Starship to be more of a reusable second stage than anything. That's really what it is. Hey, Don Rico, how you doing? Guy? Freaking love Duncan, guy. Not sponsored. Did you see the recordings of the crew in the battleship? You worked on those. Really retired. Yeah. Drummer and I spent like 8 hours in the Massachusetts. We explored every part that was available of that ship. Are tickets to home games expensive? Yeah, probably not anymore. So clear here in Lompoc. I think a few windows broke here as I heard glass break after the sonic boom. Nice. Yeah, we spent a lot of time. Drummer and I spent a lot of time in the engine room. We were trying to figure out how the whole thing works. I can't believe someone designed that. Here, hold on. I can't believe somebody designed that on a piece of paper. That's okay. Okay. Yeah, Hibbit. Yeah, exactly. You can get them real cheap nowadays. We figured out that there's sequential valves on this. Okay, so you have your main steam feed going into a regulator. It's going into a steam pressure regulator that has sequential valves on it, and you turn a... Why am I blanking? Well, you basically turn a wheel, right? And the wheel sequentially opens up the valves to let more steam into the turbine. And the turbine starts spinning. Turbine's connected to a reduction gear. There's a power takeoff on the reduction gear that governs the regulator. And then you have your drive shaft out to the screws. It was impressive. And then there's a tap off. It's taking advantage of steam expansion to have a tap off that drives your generators, which is, yeah, it's really smart. Really smart. Like for 1939, that's impressive. To get a sense of how big the supply ships like Bob Hope are, the New Jersey actually looks small when she's in the same dry dock the Hope was in. Yeah, shout out to the USNS. Hey, Splagato, what's up? I'm gonna guess they were poppet valves. John, there were sequential valves, and I don't want to get too much into it because I know that steam turbine technology is more or less like how it runs now. I'll bet you like on a Arleigh Burke or something, this is all computer controlled. It's all digitized and stuff. But dude, the control panel looked like something out of Stationeers. It was awesome. It was so cool. They had like they had pneumatic lines that the pneumatic lines were all like pre-bent, and the cable management, so to speak, was beautiful. It was beautiful. I mean, they cut out a lot of it, but yeah, it was super cool. And then yeah, John, like you have like commanded screw RPM and then actual screw RPM, and you have to get the thing to line up. You know, commands coming down from the bridge and stuff. It was cool, dude. It was super cool. Plotting room with the mechanical computers. Yeah, man, it's a good time. Hey, you changed your microphone. Yeah. I've decided to join the 21st century. Yes. If you can, question on Discord related to today's Falcon 9 launch with 2 screenshots. Spligato, on Dragon, below all the touch screens, there's manual controls. Oh yeah, they just don't really talk about them. All system, what's going on there? That's the, it's a tap line. That's the vent line for thermal conditioning on a Merlin vacuum. Is that RCS? No. Falcon 9 second stage has an RCS or an ACS that's derived from the first stage nitrogen control thrusters, the cold gas thrusters. Second stage has cold gas thrusters too. You just never see them. They're in a configuration that's similar to a Centaur 3. It's similar, but it's not the same. Centaur does not use nitrogen for its attitude control system. They use Aerozine 50 in a catalyst, if I'm remembering right. Yeah, that's normal. Yeah, that's why you see that solid oxygen get caught up on the gas generator recirculation manifold. I'm not making up words, I swear. One day I need to get up there and check it out. Dude, the engine room was sweet, John. You know, you see I see the transmission, the reduction gears. The reduction gearbox is the size of my truck. I'm like, this is freaking sweet. And the continual mesh gears that were in there. Oh, they had a acrylic thing open with the maintenance inspection hatches. They had them open on the gearbox. And they were all tagged out for obvious reasons. And then they had acrylic so you could see the continual mesh gears. Dude, the gears were bigger than the tires on an automobile, like way bigger. Like we're talking monster truck wheel sized. Which truck? The 97 Ewok. The gearboxes on that ship were bananas. Yeah, it's the reduction gear. It has 4 of them. But I've noticed that the reduction gear has a PTO on it. And that PTO is governing the steam regulator somehow. I didn't get that far. We wanted to look at all the ship, but I couldn't reverse engineer it enough. Generally speaking, the steam-driven main engines have a camshaft with poppet valves that admit steam to the high-pressure turbine, and then go to the low-pressure turbine and then to the condenser. Yeah, this is the Massachusetts AP battleship, the South Dakota class battleship. It's the second newest battleship that the U.S. made. The Iowas are the newest ones. On Dragon Spligato, they're on the lower part. They're a bunch of buttons, and then the Dragon has controls on the pilot's armrest. There are controls like right here, where like if you're sitting at your desk on a computer, where the mouse would be. There are manual buttons down there. How much does the launch cost for Falcon 9? Not too bad. It's not too bad at all. It's just like for a reuse stage, I've heard the price is running around 40 million. That's a lot for you and me, but that's not a lot for people that want to launch things into space. 40 million is probably about as cheap as you can get, and you get your first stage and fairings back. What is this launch? I saw you live and was like, oh, this is the SF-62 mission. It is a Space Force mission. It's a dock museum ship, AP. Oh, yeah. Dude, we have... AP, I don't know about you guys, but over here, like, all the ships after World War II, they made them all... well, a good deal of them. They made them museums, dude. You could see an entire freaking carrier group of museum ships just on the East Coast alone. Here, check this out. So... the one I'm talking about is in Fall River. Fall River. It's up here. That AP, that means nothing to you. Don't worry about it. That's the ship I'm talking about. It's a fast battleship that the U.S. made pre-World War II. This is a South Dakota class battleship. The lessons learned from this one led to the Iowas, the big ones, like the New Jersey, the Wisconsin, the Missouri, and the Iowa. And then, yeah, this is an old picture because Hidden Sea is not there anymore. They scrapped that. Then there's the Lionfish, and then there's a gearing destroyer. This is one museum, by the way. It's an excellent museum. Yeah. So AP, this ship has 16-inch Cal 45 Mark 6, three barrel 16-inch gun turrets. 16 inches doesn't mean anything to you. 406 mil. 406 millimeter. Because frick you. The shells are as big as me. Yeah. Don't worry, the launch is still going. We'll get back to it in a second. Here. Let me show you. Here, there's a picture of your boy standing next to a dud. That was in the number 2 turret barbette. You can go in there. Yeah. It's a 2,700 pound shell. 2,700 pounds is, I think that's like 1,300 kilos, something like that. Yeah, it's like launching a Nissan Micra. Yeah. They can lob that 20 miles, which is about 30 kilometers, give or take. Okay. EJ's 2,700 pounds. Shut up. What's a lionfish? Lionfish. Lion. Like lionfish. The Navy in World War II like naming their submarines after fish. Yeah, Drool. Drool, you know. It's got a lot of power behind it. It's got a lot of power. It's like raw power. Yeah. And so in case anybody's wondering about naval gun nomenclature, this is a 16-inch gun, 16-inch Cal 45. So in U.S. Navy gun naming nomenclature, you have the caliber, so that's the diameter of the barrel, right? 16 inches, 406 millimeter. And then you have Cal 45. The barrel length is measured in calibers, which is, I'm not 100% sure why you do that, but I don't know why, but so like if you take this gun, right, 16 inch times 45 is 720 inches. It's a 720 inch barrel. Yeah, that's how long the barrel is. The Iowas have a 16 inch Cal 50. Longer barrel, 800 inches. Yeah, the Iowas have a 16 inch Cal 50 Mark 7. These are 16-inch Cal 45 Mark 6s. They're the guns that came before it. That's not the Missouri, that's the Massachusetts. The Missouri is similar, but it's a newer battleship. The Massachusetts is an older battleship. This is a South Dakota class battleship. The US Navy made this right before they made the Iowas. All right, we have the Vampire and the Onslow. Oh, there you go. All right, there you go. Do they allow bridge access now? Yeah, we went up on the bridge. Yep. Likely measuring calibers to indicate ratio between the width of the shells and the length of the barrel. Longer barrels, better range. Yeah, Animal, that makes sense. Yeah, it's a beast, man. It's a great museum. You guys should go, if you're in New England, go and see it. That's one, dude. So that's a battleship, a destroyer, and a submarine. And then over up in Boston, there's the Constitution, which is the oldest commissioned floating naval vessel. That thing fought in the U.S. In the War of 1812, and it sank a British ship, which is pretty cool. Yeah, the Navy's it's still a commissioned Navy ship. Like, there's still Navy personnel manning that vessel, which is still cool. And then it's next to the Cass and Young. Cass and Young's a Fletcher-class destroyer. It's in pretty good condition, but it was closed for the season. So there's a destroyer and a 3-masted frigate. And then we didn't go to it. We just drove by, but I should have. If you go down here, down to Quincy, there's the USS Salem. The Salem is the last heavy cruiser in existence. It's kind of needs to be fixed. CA-139. There is no other heavy cruisers from the U.S. Navy around. They scrapped all of them. The Constitution is the only current commissioned Navy ship with a kill. Jeez. Hey, Zembal, what's up? Oh, nice, Malachi. Can you buy it as a cheap fixer-upper? I would. Oh, yeah. There you go, Havocs. So, we drove by that. I didn't go to the Salem. We should probably go to Salem. Salem's an awesome ship. And then I took Drummer all the way down here, and we went to the USS Intrepid. And that's an Essex-class aircraft carrier with, I think it's an SBC-110 angle deck conversion. And then the Growler, which is one of the first ballistic missile submarines. The Space Shuttle Enterprise is on the flight deck of the Intrepid, which is cool. Nice planes you got there, bud. Yeah, there's a Concorde at this museum. There's an A-12, F-14, F-16, A-6, a Kefir, C-2. There's a Huey Cobra, an H-31 Sikorsky. There's a MiG-17, MiG-21, T-38. There's a lot of good stuff. The Concorde is under maintenance at the moment, by the way. Why are you telling me? I was just there. Yeah, it's on deck, Animal. I can very much confirm that. Yeah, it's back. Yeah, there's a Harrier up there too, Fundingo. Yeah, that's right. Oh, nice, AP. There you go. So yeah, saw a lot of Navy ships. Anyway, let's pop back over, check on the mission coverage. Ah, Gerst. That's Bill Gerstenmaier right there. He ran the shuttle program, or helped run the space shuttle program, and then SLS for a long time. He's the vice president of flight reliability for SpaceX. Yeah, that guy's cool. He ran the shuttle program. He worked on the shuttle program from the start to the end. Wait, you live in New York? No, Boston. You asked me already. Yeah, Havocs, me too. So Spligata, SpaceX hired Bill Gerstenmaier, right? And oh boy. You know how I always say the shuttle could have been made reliable? The reason why it wasn't reliable was because of the people running the program. You know how I say that? That's not my opinion. I'm just parroting what that guy said. That guy that worked on the shuttle program for like 30 plus years. Gerst had an interview with, I think, Aviation Week, I think it was, like 2 or 3 years ago, where he basically said exactly that. He's like, the shuttle could have been made reliable. We could have been made reliable. We were tied by the system, though. Because the perception of NASA, for whatever reason at the time, was still important. It was more important than actually going and doing the missions. Yeah, he said that the RS-25 engines could have been reused. We could have used them. Like, there's nothing stopping us from reusability but us. Which really sucks. That really sucks. Yeah. That was really hard to hear, but whatever. He's making it work over at SpaceX. Yeah, all systems. Gerst knows what he's talking about. Yes. Yeah. Guy ran the shuttle program. You want to know why Falcon 9? Part of the reason why Falcon 9 launches every day? That guy right there. Took all the expertise that he learned, mostly a manual about what not to do when you're trying to reuse things from space, and applied it over at SpaceX. It's part of the reason why they have the launch cadence that they do. They have that guy with 3 decades worth of reusable spacecraft experience. And guess what? He's working on Starship now. Interesting, Zizep, huh? I wish they had those types of museums around here. Well, program, come on down. I'll show you these museums. BB64 birthday weekend is this weekend. If a trip to Norfolk one day is in the works, I would do that flip up, but I have other stuff to do. In 2 weeks, Brimo and I are taking our honeymoon. We're gonna be gone for a little while, for about just a week. So, if I didn't have so much to do this weekend, I would absolutely, I would do that. Ollie, what's up, buddy? Hi, how are you doing? I destroyed my back planting flowers and sweet peas. Oh, dude, get the Bengay and the heating pad, dude. Take it from somebody that has herniated discs. Yeah, I know how that feels. That's not fun. Dude, the heating pad, get the heating pad out, get the Bengay out, and just chill for a little bit. What are those two displays beyond the glass there? Displays. Hood, you talking about that? That is the first Dragon capsule that SpaceX ever got back. Yep, that's the one that it's time to wake up. That's the one that flew up into space. That was the first recovered Dragon capsule. That right here, this thing, that's a jig for moving around Falcon 9 thrust structures. It's an octaweb carrier. I don't know what that thing is. That's the cafeteria over there. Yeah, if you really want to know. Oh, and right there is the thrust structure for Falcon 9, by the way. This jig holds that thing. It's really cool. SpaceX does integration on their Falcon 9 thrust structure. So basically where all the 9 engines are holding, it needs to be a really strong piece because it's holding 9 rocket engines, right? It needs to be really strong, and how they put the whole thing together is on a converted semi-truck lift. Yeah, it's a semi-truck lift with a custom jig to hold Falcon 9 thrust structures, which is super freaking cool. Yep. Yeah, that's the cafeteria. Yep. This is Merlin 1 integration and building right there. Those guys are just chilling over there, though. Behind it, across the hall over there, where it's all kind of enclosed, that's where they make fairings. Yep. I've been there. I've been here before. Oh, nice, Geek. There you go. Yeah, guys, there's plenty of museum ships in the U.S. If you're going to the U.S., you want to do something cool that's not like going and seeing a rocket launch, check out the museum ships. They're everywhere. We have them all over the place. We made a lot of those things. A lot of ships during World War II. You can see every single type of ship that served in World War II, from aircraft carriers, battleships, destroyers, one cruisers, submarines, resupply ships. In fact, one of the resupply ships out of San Francisco, the Jeremiah O'Brien, it still goes. They still sail it. It still works. It's like a 70-year-old Liberty ship, and it's still float. It's still seaworthy, which is really cool. Why 228 kilometers? Any reason why Falcon 9 is at this altitude? That's the altitude that's prime for payload deployment, Pigeon. It's all about where the customer wants to go. Falcon 9 is just a taxi. Rip OJ. The juice is no longer loose. I have to find a way to get you to the Nautilus. I drove by the Nautilus on Sunday, Rizik. I'm so happy that SpaceX poached Gerst. That guy is like the foremost expert in the world on reusing spacecraft. And he works for SpaceX, which is amazing. Was that the sub pen you pointed out? Yes, Drummer. That's Groton, Connecticut. Yeah. The Nautilus Museum is there. The Nautilus was the first nuclear-powered submarine. Yeah. We didn't have time, dude. We needed more time. You're just gonna have to come back. Just gonna have to come back. Any recommendations for an individual in Louisville with secret government clearance looking for a job? I love all what you talk about, and it's challenging but exhilarating. I'd love for a job for SpaceX. Nick Tide, if you have a clearance, dude, you should be able to walk into a technician's job, man. What do you want to do? Yeah, I don't know why Nightbot purged you there. I don't know. I saw it, though, Nick. I saw it. You worked on the Nautilus once in my life. That's cool, Lockout. Speaking of ships, really hope the Calypso gets restored because it's in a weird state right now. Yep. Thomas, if I came into a lot of money, dude, I would just go around I would just go around being like, hey, you ship need repairs? How much? Oh, 50 million? Good, here's 60. Here you go. Fix it. If it's not seaworthy, I'm going to be pissed. Yeah, that's what I would do if I had like Jeff Bezos money. I would be doing that. I'd be like, good, fix the ship. Oh, we don't have anybody here that knows how to work on. All right, good. Get people that do. There's plenty of squids out there. How much does an EJ battleship tour cost? AP, if you show up at my door, we will drive to Fall River and I will give you a tour of the battleship. I'll even pay for your ticket. Bill Gersten, Wayne Hale War is my best source of information on STS. Huge respect. Yeah. Magisterks, yeah, absolutely. Havoc's right. I would love lots of money. Just give me some notice, AP. Just a little bit. Should do short video form tours. Drummer, we should. You got to come over here and we got to go back. We got to go back to the museum. We got to ask who the curator is and see if we can do stuff like that. Hey, I'm in Bristol. I'll meet you over the Braga Bridge. All right, man. I mean, you guys want to do meetups at the Massachusetts? I'm kind of down for that. Yeah, I'm kind of down for that. As long as everybody pays for a ticket and supports the museum, I'm kind of down for that. All right, all systems. If you visit Norfolk or Udvarhazy in DC, I'm in. All right. Moondoggy, down in... You have the North Carolina and Wilmington. Very cool ship. Moondoggy, that's the only ship that that has a battleship-to-battleship gunfight under its belt. Not the belt of the ship. The North Carolina sank another battleship, if I'm remembering right. That's awesome, Caleb. Freaking cool, man. The belt? Sorry, my radar went off. No, not that belt. Just give me like 6 months notice so I can get a cheap flight. It sank to Kirishima. You also need to come to Spire in Sinsheim. Yes, I do, Sebby. Yep. The Smithsonian in DC was recently redone. Need to see it again. I'm just gonna have to. Looks like we're going on road trips this summer. I thought the Washington sank one. Washington? Maybe. Wait, isn't that a North Carolina class battleship? I'm confused. Now I want to reinstall War of the Warships. Why you do this? I'm sorry, Caleb. Yeah, that's totally my bad. Naval architecture is so cool to me, dudes. Like, that's why when we played Stormworks, we played the snot out of Stormworks. Looks like there's a museum in Jacksonville and Key West, and I'm in the middle. Program, just drive up to Mobile and go see the Alabama, man. Drive up to Mobile. There's a ship, the Massachusetts sister ship, the USS Alabama. It's in Mobile. It's a great museum. Toll Road. Drive on that toll road, feller, in Alabama. Wait, no. Roll to eat, suck toes. Wait. Wow. Is that a damage report, Hellfish? Man, that thing got messed up. Not shooting techs. What? Good afternoon. Welcome to Pop Copy. Can I help you? Yeah, naval ship architecture is a hobby of mine. I'm a dork, guys. I don't know what to tell you. I'm a dork. I love to see how the ships are put together. It's so smart, dude. Recommendations. I respect your thoughts. Okay, Nick Tide. USAjobs.gov is probably where you want to start. That's what NASA's working on, and then SpaceX has job postings all the time, dude. Seriously, if we go open up SpaceX here, check this out. They have their job postings right on X. Find something. I guarantee you there's something here if you're willing to relocate. In terms of being in Louisville, Boeing is in South Carolina. There's not much in Louisville, dude. Not to my knowledge, but there might be. Yeah, USAjobs.gov is NASA. Oop. USA Yob. This is NASA. Dude, with a secret clearance, you could walk into a technician's position. Absolutely. Yeah, they want people like that because that proves that you can keep a secret. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right on X, dude. Plenty of stuff. Dude, you want to be a sushi chef? You need 5 years of experience in a sushi kitchen. I mean, hey, making sushi is an art. I'm not a big sushi guy, but I know that making sushi is a freaking art, dude. No, SpaceX work for UK citizens. Have you tried not being a UK citizen? Just saying. All I'm saying is you can remedy that problem. Ooh, TIG welding. Propulsion subassembly. Sick. Hey, I just became a UK citizen last week. Why? That's awesome, Elfish. That's cool. Why would... Because I live here and I want to vote. What? Hey, Taradra, you suck at being a bad streamer. Goat him. I will never recover. Passionate about freedom, does that count? It's a good start. It's a good start, man. I can't believe they're streaming this much of this mission, dude. That's weird. Question? You seem confused. I didn't get rid of my American citizenship. I still have it. You just have dual. Dual citizenship. There's only room for one type of citizen in this country, boy, and that's American, all right? There's no hybrid citizenship, all right? Teddy Roosevelt said that. Yeah, Havix, maybe. I can't tell if you're kidding. Yes, because I'd be serious if I was talking like this the entire time. Teddy Roosevelt did say that for what it's worth. Yeah, that's my real voice. Yep, I ain't even from here. Yep, talking like this the whole time. Hey, Leglander, what's up? My man's getting taxed twice. Yeah. Oh, sous chef. Hell yeah. Dude, I'm qualified for that. Qualified for that. Worked in a restaurant. Definitely. Let's see. What's the experience? Manage cost controls and control expenditures. Oh. Create pricing schedules for all meals. That's not what a sous chef does. Source high quality ingredients with a focus on local, sustainable, and organic items. Yeah, they got a word for that. It's called vegetables. Plan and create all menus with an emphasis on seasonal items and creative menu choices. Purchase and manage inventory. Oh, jeez. Yep, I remember having to do that. 3+ years culinary experience, high school diploma. Bro, I'm qualified for this. I could do that job.
Welcome back to our
John, welcome back.
Of the U.S. Space Force 62 mission. We're just past T plus 48 minutes and 12 seconds. We're currently awaiting the relight of our second stage MVAC engine. That's coming up in just about 90 seconds from now. Now, this burn, called SES-2, or Second Stage Engine Start 2, will last for just over 6 seconds. Now, while we're waiting to come into coverage range of our African Indian Ocean ground stations, let's recap what we've had so far today. And it's been a successful mission so far. Falcon 9 successfully lifted off from Slick 4 East at 7:25 a.m., carrying the WSF microwave payload. Stage separation occurred just before 2.5 minutes into flight, right on time. That was followed by a successful landing of Falcon 9's first stage at landing zone 4, what we call a land-on-land landing. About T+8 minutes, we had successful second stage engine cutoff, and that was SECA 1.
A lot of microwaves in space.
We had the go-to orbit call-out just as we were going off
on the ISS
air for the coast period, and now we're coming up in just about half a minute on second stage engine start number 2, and then we'll wait to hear the GNC engineer confirm the orbit. On the bottom right, take a look at the meters that we've got. You can see when we left, we were at perigee. We've now gone halfway around the Earth. We're at apogee. We're going to light the engine, and you'll see the velocity increase to circularize the orbit.
Yep, they had a reacquisition through ground station. There's MVAC ignition.
We've got ignition of the second stage engine. This is about a 6-second burn.
Circularization at 8:44. Cutoff. Note that the speed increased, but altitude didn't, which means you're at apogee, like what John said. They're increasing the lowest part of their orbit and circularizing the orbit at 844 kilometers. Got a good call for nominal orbit insertion.
All right, we've had the cutoff of the second stage engine.
There's the vent down.
SECO 2. And the important part, the guidance nav and control officer has just confirmed that we have a good orbit. So this is the orbit that we need to be in for deploying the spacecraft.
That's a purge down line, guys. So all systems actually, one of my mods actually asked about this. That's a purge down line. So all systems, they use it to thermally condition the engine, and it vents, and then they use it to purge the engine out. After you fire a rocket engine, you can get residual propellants in the lines. Don't want that. One of those propellants is liquid oxygen. Liquid oxygen oxidizes things really, really well. It makes things rust. Like, you think salt's bad? Pour liquid oxygen on your car. It'll like rust a hole through the damn thing, right? Don't do that ever. It's not good for it. That's not an endorsement, please. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so what they do is they have helium. They tap into the helium from the ullage tanks, and they purge the engine out.
Systems Command is the U.S. Space Force's field command responsible for acquiring, developing, and delivering.
They do that to make sure it's safe for the next firing, which should most likely be a deorbit burn. This payload's pretty small.
SBEM mission is to deliver environmental and tactical intelligence to provide an operational advantage. SBEM space programs work in cooperation with both civil and international partners. And today's payload, known formally as WSF-M SV-1.
The payload, formerly known as Mouse Cop.
The Weather System Follow-On Microwave Space Vehicle 1 provides modernized space-based microwave imaging capabilities for low Earth orbit weather data collection. The WSF-M enables the production of enhanced weather prediction and analysis for global mission planning and operations.
You're sending mixed signals.
The satellite is a strategic solution tailored to address 3 high-priority Department of Defense space-based environmental monitoring gaps, and those are ocean surface vector winds, tropical cyclone intensity, and energetic charged particles in low Earth orbit. The satellite will also provide vital data on sea ice characterization, soil moisture, and snow depth.
They're venting down.
The WSF-M system is an important part of the U.S. Space Force's pivot towards a hybrid environment monitoring architecture. And this leverages existing weather capabilities, buys commercially available technologies and services, and builds inherently more resilient systems.
Havoc's, it's a poker game, dude. Sometimes you show part of your hand with a poker game. You know what I'm saying?
Space Force's move towards this new architecture. WSF-M is now the United States' newest weather space system, and it will augment capabilities provided by the Legacy Defense Meteorological Satellite Program, or DMSP.
Yes, Bureka, most likely.
T plus 53 minutes, 17 seconds into the mission. All is going well. Spacecraft deployment coming up in 1 minute and 40 seconds. You know, Atticus, I was listening, you talked about DMSP, the Defense Meteorological Satellite Program. It takes me back to the launch. I was fortunate to fly a DMSP on a Titan II from Space Launch Complex 4 West back in 2003. So I'm glad to see that we're continuing on with that heritage, bringing new instruments into space to support the warfighter and the general U.S. population.
This is why we like
note
John.
That today's landing at Landing Zone 4 is that former launch pad. We took the towers down, put some concrete in, and so we've got a nice big area where the first stage is sitting right now at Vandenberg. Now, as we come up, we're inside 1 minute to spacecraft deployment. We are getting coverage from both the SpaceX Indian Ocean Ground Station as well as the commercial African Ground Station at Hartebeestok. And we're getting these nice views. There's the view from the payload attach fitting camera looking forward. You can see part of the WSF-M satellite as we get ready to deploy it in about 16 seconds from now.
Yeah, they have a ground station, or they pay for using some of the antennas at Diego Garcia and Indian Ocean. Yep. Mm-hmm. Good deploy.
Payload deploy confirmed.
All right.
Happy trails, hands.
Look at it go. Right on time, right into the orbit we needed to get it to.
Bye-bye.
And so WSF-M on its way to begin gathering that data, turn into a useful product for the warfighter.
WSF-M, your all-weather forecast all the time. 24-hour weather meteorological coverage coming at you live from medium Earth orbit.
Thank you, John. It is great to see that payload heading off into space.
Bye-bye.
And we'd like to say thank you to the United States Space Force and Space Systems Command for entrusting us with today's mission. April is another very exciting month of launches here at SpaceX. So if you're interested in more launch coverage, be sure to check out spacex.com/launches. And of course, as always, thank you for joining us this morning, and we hope to see you again soon.
You're welcome. Thanks for doing this. United States Force. I'm talking about the United States of Space. Because I'm not stopping at the moon. Write this down. M-A-R-S. Mars, chat. Red rocks. Yee. So what happens to the second stage? Well, deorbit. Biff, they'll probably deorbit it, sorry. Talking about the United States of Space. I'm all about that yellow cake. Don't you drop that yellow cake. Don't drop it. Pray to God you don't drop that stuff. Freaking right. Guardians are, yeah, that's what Space Force personnel is called. Is that altitude an unusual orbit, Bureka? It's okay, so that type of orbit is what's called sun synchronous. I talked about this a little bit ago. It's an SSO orbit. That is very popular with spy satellites. And I guess defense meteorological satellites as well. Now, that type of orbit, yeah, it's one of the more popular destinations for low to medium Earth orbit. That was a medium Earth orbit. Low Earth orbit is kind of close to us, like where the ISS is. That's almost double the height up there. Yeah, that's popular for defense payloads from most countries. In terms of like SpaceX, we're used to Starlink missions. Starlink missions are low Earth orbit insertion at 500 kilometers instead of 800. That's what that's what the majority of SpaceX missions go to. So 300 to 500 miles is that. Yep. So yeah, it's not necessarily unique. Those orbits, we don't really see like these orbits a lot. And when I mean see it, I mean that like physically. Usually a rocket that launches to this type of orbit won't be streamed. like at all. So, yeah, it is kind of rare for us to see it, but it's not a rare orbit, but it is rare for us to see it. So yes and no, I guess. It's a secret orbit. You reckon, you know, in like Bond films and like spy thrillers, like the satellites where they're always like, enhance, enhance, enhance. I can see him. He's reading the newspaper. Like those satellites, that's that orbit. Sun synchronous is where those types of satellites usually are. Angara A5 launched into space with a dummy test payload this morning. Yeah, they actually did stream it. It launched out of Vostochny, which means Eastern Spaceport. Vostochny Kosmodrom is Eastern Spaceport in Russian. It's a very clever name. Guess where it is? East. Yeah, how'd you know? That's cool. All right. So here, I want to see a replay of that landing here real quick. Yeah, we lost the juice, goalie. It's all right. That's all right. Hey, goalie, how did that thing go? That thing go good?
There you go. Wow, great tracking shot of that.
Oh. I really like the look of Angara. It has nice lines. Yeah. Yeah, Angara isn't a bad rocket. It is a so Angara is actually it's a huge step forward for Russia, like, and their types of rockets, if you really want to know. You know, once upon a time, I was very not involved personally, but we watched what the Russians were doing a lot because, you know, my appetite for space flight stuff just is big. So we would, once upon a time, we used to get updates like from Roscosmos themselves. I mean, they still might do it. I don't know. I haven't really been covering it much since 2022 for reasons. Yeah, Angara is a very big step forward for the Russian space program, and that's part of the reason why it's taken so long. We're talking about aluminum milled isogrid, friction stir welding, kind of getting up to industry standards where the rest of the aerospace industry around the world is. It's taken them a little bit, but yeah, Angara's, it's a good expendable vehicle. I mean, I'd prefer Delta. I mean, if I had to choose. Night was hardcore. All right, man. Well, glad everything's okay. They've moved all of their reporting to Telegram. Yeah. Yeah, I still do that. Observe. The sources are no longer reliable, though. Yeah. Do the rockets go zoom or burr? It's more boom than anything, Jack. Actually, you ever heard like one of those things on the internet where like it's you have to like look at something and then it plays the like the overdriven microphone thing? Yeah, that's what a rocket engine sounds like. It just sounds like static. It's loud. They're cool though. Not really. The main reason is still that there are some protons left, so no real payloads yet for Angara. Next launch of A5 is 2 years away. Shinar, what was that in regard to? I was just saying Angara is a big step forward for the Russian space program in terms of manufacturing. I mean, they built a new factory for the dang thing in Omsk, which is like centralized around all their launch sites between Plesetsk, Baikonur, and Vostochny. I mean, why it's so slowly developed? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's taken some time because it's a huge step forward. Yeah, Magisterix for real. Yeah, it's cool. Talking about practice. Yeah, there you go, program. Right. Someone just showed me the XF-85 Goblin, and now I can't stop thinking about it. Oh, that stubby thing? The thing that was supposed to be point defense for a bomber?
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Yeah. Yeah, Cretine, yeah. Hey, Goff, 52 months. Learn more about the B-52. All right. 52-month resub. Yeah, that was an interesting concept. This thing was supposed to be deployed out of the bomb bay of a bomber and be able to fly point defense for a bomber and then actually redock with the bomber and get pulled back up into the bomb bay through this apparatus right here. It's a I mean, like, the closest thing we ever got to like a Protoss carrier, I guess. Do you know about the Thunder Screech? The what is it, XF-82? Yeah. When you try to spin the propellers faster than the speed of sound, they physics starts to get upset. Yeah, physics starts to get mad at you. Yeah, it's pulled back through the bomb bay. Yeah. I bet with the computer fly-by-wire control, the Goblin might actually work pretty well. Goblins are good, but I'd prefer this. Yeah. Yeah, that's same idea. You guys ever play StarCraft? Protoss carrier has arrived. Yeah, it doesn't dock to any bombers, though. It just flies around and loiters. But you can, like, straight hive mind control that thing with another airplane. So you can do Protoss carrier things, just minus the carrier. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so yeah, we'll get into playing games here real quick, but I also, if you're a Twitter or X junkie, I also wanted to show you this. You know, if you get it, you get it, but the Marines posted this morning, and only yesterday, excuse me. It's if you get it, you get it. It's pretty funny, actually. Anybody familiar with this? Clear sight picture. Yeah, if you get it, you get it. How was Fallout last night, program? Oh boy. If you know, you know. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I know, and that's pretty damn funny, actually.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
That was in response to the Navy posting that a couple of days ago. I don't know if this is a joke or not. It has to be. Yeah. It has to be a joke. It has to be. That has to be a joke. There's no way. I don't believe it. I'm not believing it. I think this whole thing is a way to get us to talk about the Navy and the Marines. There's no way that picture went through a PAO and they posted it on the internet without playing this game. There's no way. Oh my. I didn't even notice that, B-Dean. Oh my god. Oh my god, dude. Why don't you just wait for it to fly out of your hands? Oh, that's cool, though. You've neat. I just. All right. Anyway. Oh. We could talk about that more later for space news. Anyway. What's the next launch teed up? We have another launch Saturday at 9. Can't guarantee that I'll be here for that, but yeah. I don't think it's AI generated, nerd. I just refuse to believe that. So the Navy, like NASA, has public affairs officers, and the public part of what a PAO's job is to clear pictures that don't show anything that you don't want people to see. Yeah. Spoken like a true Army guy. Goalie. Yeah. To be fair, they have a mural of a paratrooper at the USAF Museum. They photoshopped the parachute backwards. Okay. Oh, okay, man. Oh. Oh, yeah. Drummer got pictures of the drive mechanism. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Cool. Anyway. All right. Workers' time. We will talk more about space and rockets and battleships and all other manner of good stuff at 5 p.m. So that's in about 5.5 hours. So we're going to switch us over. I'm going to try to get us out of that crippling debt hole in workers and resources. It's not